Welcome back to Bloodstained Backstories, the podcast where we dive deep into some of the most shocking and heartbreaking crimes in modern history.
Each week, we look beyond the headlines to understand what happened, who the victims were, and how the cases changed communities and sometimes even laws.
Today's case is coming from Georgia and what happened in 2004. It made international news and sparked a lot of debate over illegal immigration in the United States.
A bill was eventually passed called the Laken Riley Act, which became the first bill signed into law by Donald Trump during his second term as president.
So today we're going to learn about Laken and what happened to her and why this case captured so much of the international attention.
Laken Riley was born in Marietta, Georgia on January 10, 2002. Her parents were Jason Riley and Allison Phillips, and she had 3 siblings.
Friends and family would describe her as energetic, kind, and deeply dedicated to helping others, and that's actually what led towards a career in nursing.
Laken was a member of the cross-country team in high school, and she graduated from high school in 2020. Running wasn't just exercise for her, it was something she genuinely loved.
She went on to attend the University of Georgia for her undergraduate studies before enrolling in nursing as a student at Augusta University.
While studying, she remained active on campus and was a member of the Alpha Chi Omega sorority.
Her friends said she was the type of person who would wake up early for workouts, help classmates study, and somehow would still have time to check in on everyone around her.
She was only 22 years old at the time of her death. She had her whole life ahead of her.
And sadly, her life would be taken in a place that many students considered safe, a college campus.
Laken went for a morning run at the University of Georgia on February 22nd, 2024.
At about 8:55 a.m., she sent her mother a text message saying, "Good morning, you're about to go for a run if you're free to talk."
8 minutes later at 9:03, Laken tried to call her mother, but her mom unfortunately missed the call.
And then at 9:11 a.m., something alarming happened. Laken's phone called 911.
Investigators later testified that the cell was triggered through the SOS emergency feature on her phone, which is designed to automatically dial emergency services if a person is in danger.
The dispatcher could hear movement but was unable to communicate with anyone before the call was disconnected.
The dispatcher called back twice, but there was no answer.
Investigators later determined that sometime between 9 a.m. and 9:32 a.m., Laken was attacked and killed.
At 9:37 a.m., Laken's mother responded to her early text message, but by that time, Laken had already died.
When her mom didn't hear back, she began texting and calling repeating, and other family members also tried to contact her.
That growing sense of dread would soon become a nightmare.
When Laken did not return home from her run, her roommate reported her missing at 12:07 p.m. to the University of Georgia Police Department.
Just 31 minutes later, at 12:38 p.m., officers discovered her body in Oconee Forest Park behind Lake Herrick.
According to the Athens-Clarke County coroner, Laken had died from blunt force trauma and asphyxiation.
Her Garmin fitness watch became a key piece of evidence.
The data showed that her heart stopped beating around 9:28 a.m., helping investigators narrow down the timeline of the attack.
Investigators also noted signs of a violent struggle. Laken fought back against her attacker.
This would later become an important piece of evidence.
Another shocking detail: there had not been a murder on the University of Georgia campus since 1983.
University of Georgia police described the attack as a crime of opportunity, meaning investigators believe the killer randomly targeted Laken.
Police soon identified a suspect, Jose Antonio Ibarra.
Jose was a 26-year-old Venezuelan national who had entered the United States illegally.
He crossed the United States-Mexican border near El Paso in September 2022.
He was apprehended by federal authorities but later released into the United States pending the immigration process.
Initially, Ibarra stayed at the Roosevelt Hotel immigrant shelter in New York City.
He eventually traveled to Athens, which is where his brother lived.
According to police, Jose lived in an apartment complex about 1 mile from where Laken's body was found.
And investigators would soon learn that he already had a troubling criminal history.
In September 2023, he had been arrested in New York on charges of acting in a manner to injure a child under 17 and a motor vehicle violation after riding a scooter without a license with a child who wasn't wearing a helmet.
In October of 2023, Ibarra and his brother were arrested in Athens for shoplifting from Walmart.
Police said they were caught with stolen merchandise.
But like several previous encounters with law enforcement, he would be released.
In December 2023, a bench warrant was issued after he failed to appear in court for the shoplifting case.
And investigators later said immigration officials had missed opportunities to issue a detainer for him.
The investigation quickly produced key forensic evidence.
Police obtained surveillance footage showing a man throwing a jacket in a dumpster near Ibarra's apartment.
The investigators recovered the jacket. They found Laken's hair on it.
And DNA testing would reveal something even more significant.
Both Laken's DNA and Jose's DNA were on the jacket.
And perhaps the most damning evidence of all, Jose's DNA was found under Laken's fingernails, indicating she had fought back and scratched her attacker, Jose.
Police also discovered Jose's fingerprint on Laken's phone screen, placing him in direct contact with her during the attack.
During questioning, investigators noticed red knuckles and scratches on his arms.
Those injuries were consistent with a physical struggle.
Jose's brother and roommate also identified him as the person seen in the surveillance footage disposing of the jacket.
At that point, investigators had enough evidence to arrest him for murder.
On May 8, 2024, a grand jury in Clark County indicted Jose on 10 charges.
These included 3 counts of felony murder, malice murder, kidnapping, false imprisonment, aggravated assault with intent to rape, hindering a 911 call, concealing the death for another, and peeping Tom.
Yes, peeping Tom, and there's another disturbing reason for that.
Earlier that same morning, Jose had allegedly been lurking outside the apartment of a female graduate student.
She told police that while she was showering, someone tried to open her front door and was peering through her window.
Investigators believe he left that location and then encountered Laken during her run.
The attempted sexual assault charge came from the condition of Laken's clothing when she was discovered.
Her waistband had been pulled down, while her shirt, jacket, and bra were pushed up, something investigators believe indicated an attempted sexual assault rather than movement during the struggle.
Jose pleaded not guilty and was denied bail.
His defense team attempted to move the trial to another county due to heavy media attention.
But H. Patrick Hadgard said, "No way, Jose," and denied his request.
Jose made an unusual decision.
He waived his right to a jury trial and opted for a bench trial, which means the judge alone would determine his verdict.
The trial began on November 15th, 2024.
Prosecutors presented extensive forensic evidence which included the DNA under Laken's fingernails, the jacket with both DNA profiles, surveillance footage, and his fingerprint on her phone.
Investigators also presented cell phone data and location information, placing him in the area of the trail at the same time as the attack.
The defense argued that the case relied on circumstantial evidence, but the forensic evidence proved difficult to overcome.
On November 20th, 2024, Judge Haggard found Jose Antonio Ibarra guilty on all charges.
He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
He is currently being held at Georgia Diagnostic and Classification State Prison.
Laken's funeral was held on March 1st, 2024 at the Woodstock City Church.
She was buried at Eon Cemetery.
A memorial was later created near Lake Herrick, close to where she was found.
Her stepfather said, "She will be missed every day, but we promise to honor her life moving forward in a very big way."
Her family also announced plans to create a foundation in honor of her.
Laken's murder quickly drew national and international attention.
Georgia Congressman Mike Collins invited Laken's parents to attend the State of the Union address, but they declined.
During the 2024 State of the Union, President Joe Biden referenced the case after Marjorie Taylor Greene shouted Laken's name during his speech.
Journalist Sarah Dorn wrote in Forbes that the case had become a national political case.
The case was also referenced during the 2024 presidential campaign by Donald Trump, who highlighted it while discussing border security.
Media outlets also discussed safety concerns for women who run alone.
Journalist Andrea Cavalier from The Independent compared Laken's case to the murders of Molly Tibbetts and Karina Ventrano, both women killed while jogging.
Some politicians pushed for tougher immigration policy, including Lindsey Graham, who said the case could significantly impact the election.
Others accused political leaders of politicizing a tragedy.
On March 7, 2024, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Laken Riley Act in a 251 to 170 vote.
37 Democrats joined all Republican members in voting for the bill.
The law requires federal detention of undocumented immigrants arrested for burglary or theft.
It also allows states to sue federal government if immigration laws are not enforced.
President Donald Trump would sign the bill into law on January 29, 2025.
The murder of Laken Riley shocked the community, devastated a family, and ultimately sparked a national debate.
But beyond the politics and headlines, it is important to remember that the person at the center of this story, the 22-year-old woman who loved running, wanted to help people as a nurse, and whose life was taken far too soon.
Thanks for tuning in to Bloodstained Backstories.
Don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated, share your thoughts, and connect with your fellow true crime enthusiasts.
You can catch us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite platform.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and join us next time as we uncover another chilling case. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.